How's everybody doing today? Welcome. Getting ready to make a really cute design today. And if y'all have any questions, y'all can ask along the way. We'll ask some questions at the end. I'll go as slow as I can, keep you going. So we're going to start out in Canva today. We're going to use Canva and we're going to use Cricut Design Space. And so even if you have Canva, you don't have to have Pro. You can do it without having Pro. I do suggest you get it. It's awesome. It's only, I believe, $12.99 a month, and you can get that. So once you have your Canva, hey, how are you? Welcome back. We've got a cute design in store today. We're going to make a t-shirt for a Christmas watching movie t-shirt. Because why not? Welcome, Dawn. How's everybody doing? You haven't missed yet. Every Sunday at 5 o'clock. So, and I'll try to keep it down to an hour at least. Not go too much over. All right. So, we've got our Canva open here. We're going to open up a new Canva design and we're going to get the elements like we do typically and send them into Cricut Design Space. If you have a Cricut Design Space membership, you don't even need this. You can probably find everything you need within Cricut. I prefer the images in Canva. I prefer the way I can upload my fonts in Canva, which is why I use it more often. All right, we're going to start out with just a custom size and as big as you want to make it. This one's going to be a 15 by 15. You can make it 11 by 12. You can make it whatever you want. As long as it's big enough where your images, when we move them into Design Space, they still have really good resolution. Because in the end, they're still going to be blown up even more. So you want to have the biggest template here that you can. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to type out the words, this is my Christmas movie watching shirt. And so we're going to go over some fonts if you have any questions on fonts and where you can get them. Hey, Monique, how are you? All right. So we're going to start out, we're going to add a text box. And it doesn't really matter where you put them at this point because we can move everything around in Design Space. Welcome to the live. Hope you enjoy doing some designing. We're in Design Space Canva at the moment. And I'm just getting everything that I need and I'm going to move it all into Design Space. So for this one, I've got a few different fonts, but I'm thinking, okay. You can choose any fonts you want. I like this one a lot. It's the BFC Dirty Drink. And then we're going to just duplicate this. All right. Well, okay. And this is Christmas. And we're going to change the font of that. And if you followed my lives before, you know that I use two cursives regularly. I use the Love Regular. I use that quite often, or the Ocean Sunshine. In this case, we're going to use the Ocean Sunshine. You can choose whichever cursive you like. I just like the look of this one. It's a classic cursive look to it. All right, so we'll just move that up a little bit. All right, so we're going to type movie. And once again, if you have Design Space and you want to do all your text and everything in Design Space, that's completely fine. This is just how I do it. I believe, well, I forgot what font this was called. Hey everyone, welcome. Right now we're just getting everything together in Design Space. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going to use this. All right, so this is Piru, however you pronounce it. And that one's in Canva already. Welcome, everybody. Making a super cute design today. If you want to follow along, I'm in Canva at the moment. Okay, so the last one I used was already in Canva, the Piru. The other ones I've actually downloaded. The top one was actually a set, a BFC set that I had bought on Etsy. So I did pay a little bit for, it was a bundle of fonts. The Ocean Sunrise is a free font that you can find on DaFont. Love is one that you can find on DaFont as well. It is under Love 8. It's hard to look for when you just type in Love font, but Love 8 is the actual, and it'll show it with the glyphs and everything. All right. All right, we're just going to make that a little bit smaller. I'm going to change the font. And if you don't like to use a lot of fonts, you can pick the ones you like and then just go from there. I'm going all out today. So I want kind of a thin font. I've got a few. I'm trying to use something I don't usually use. No. I've got too many fonts, y'all. That's the problem. Okay, so there we go. Welcome. Hey, you're welcome. All right. Now, I don't know about y'all, but picking fonts to me is one of the hardest parts of designing. There's so many really cute ones. You just got to find, that'll work right there. Okay. I'm done choosing, I promise. And we'll make it all fit within there. So, at this point, we're going to get all the elements that we're going to want for the design. So, I'm going to use a cup of hot cocoa. I'm going to use, like one of those little movie reel things. What do they call it? The little thing that shows the scene they're on. I'm just going to pick a couple things that have to do with movies and Christmas. And this is where you can kind of get creative and let's see here. That one looks good to me. Like I said, you want to keep them big enough that when you move them over in design space, they have really good resolution. So this one I kind of like the look of. It's like a watercolor look. If you don't have Canva Pro, there are plenty of options. If you choose free, then these are all the free ones. So you don't have to have Canva Pro. You can just find a really cute one that you like. Get rid of that. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm thinking this right here. That's, I don't know what it's called, but that's all right, y'all. And then I want something like this, but with swirling. Some movie film. And Canva has just about everything in it. And so you just kind of find one. That one's perfect right there. Okay. And anything else that you might want, you can put a background. If you want to do a background, you would get it from, this is in Canva. Welcome, Gio. This is Canva that we're in right now. I'm saving everything in Canva and I'm going to upload it into my design space. And so I've got everything that I need here for my design. Hey, you're welcome. All right, so we're going to save it. We're going to download. Transparent background, just so we don't get the white behind it. And we're going to download that. And then once we have that downloaded, we're going to open up our Cricut design space. Cricut design space is awesome. I use it a lot for designing. I use a lot of other programs, but I absolutely love design space. And you can do so much stuff in there. It seems very overwhelming at first, but once you get the hang of it. So in design space, it does not matter if you have a Cricut or not, you can get design space. So if you want to follow along, go ahead and open that up. We're going to open up a new replace. Sorry, I was working on another project. Okay, so we're going to upload everything we just did in Canva. All right, and right now it has no background behind it. So we're going to apply. And then just save it under something. If you want to pull this project up later, make sure that you save it under something that you're going to actually remember. Okay, now we're going to upload our little designs. All right. Okay, now that we got everything uploaded, okay, so now we have everything in Design Space. So here's the fun part. We want to separate everything. That way we can design it the way we want. If you like the layout, if you put it in the layout that you want, and the only reason I didn't is because I'm going to alter the word Christmas just a little bit. And so at this point, I kind of want to separate each one of these. And this is going to give you a lot of the cut and splice practice, because a lot of Design Space is using the slice button. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down to the bottom of the screen where it says shapes, and we're just going to create a square. Now there's two ways to go about doing this. And this one's just going to be a little bit faster for me, just because I don't have to. Okay, so you can go into your image and contour, and then take out each one that you don't want. But that's going to take forever touching each individual one. Or you can create a shape and then just splice. All right, we're just going to duplicate that. So we're going to select both layers. You can only do 2 layers at once. So if I were to select multiple layers, it's not going to let me slice anything. So we're going to select these 2 layers, and we're going to slice, and that's going to separate the watching, and we're going to put the stuff we don't need, and we're going to delete that and just get it out of the way. I try to keep my canvas as clean as I can. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to slice, and you can only do 2 at a time, and then we're going to do it one more time, and we're going to slice. Okay, so now we have each individual part that's separate from each other. Okay, so I selected print and cut. What that's going to do, well, I guess on the words, I selected cut because it really doesn't matter. They're black and they don't have any actual images. If you were to have something like this right here or this, you would have to do print and cut. And that's going to give you the actual image itself. Say I were to go in and do cut. So we're going to apply. You see where it says cut? This is basically if you're creating SVGs to cut vinyl out of. This is just going to give you the actual shape. It's not going to give you the details that are in the pictures. So if you have something that has an image attached, then you need to use print and cut. If you're just doing an SVG or just plain words that you don't need to color anything, then cut's the option to go. But it really doesn't matter either way. Just if you want this image, don't select cut, if that makes sense. All right, we're going to back out of that. Okay, so now we're going to separate these. These are a lot easier. We're just going to, oh, my bad. So we're going to contour. We're going to duplicate that. We're going to contour. We're going to take that one out and put that one in. No, that's okay. You're welcome. I'm just here to help. All right, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take away what you don't want, and we're going to leave it with this here. All right, so now each individual one is separate from each other. So now here comes the fun part, is putting it all together. This is a super easy design. We're not going to put too much into it, but we are going to move some things around. Okay, so now I want the word shirt. What I'm going to do, you can go into Canva and type out the word shirt in any font that you want. I have one that I've uploaded myself, and if you have any that you've uploaded, you just save them under your Cricut. All right. I'm just going to scroll. Okay, so I like these big old bubble letters here. I believe it's something I bought off of Etsy, bubble letters. It was just the outlines, and then it was PNG, so I uploaded the PNG into Design Space, which is why they are the way they are. So they're actually in cut form, and so I could, hypothetically use my Cricut and cut out the vinyl in them. There's no definition to them. There's nothing. It's just an outline. So we're just going to get the letters for the word shirt. Okay. All right. So here comes the fun part. And it's something I don't know, I love the look of it, so I do this a lot. So what we're going to do is we are going to line up these where we want them. If you want to alternate them, you can keep them straight. That's all up to your liking. If you don't want to use that, that's fine too. So I got mine just a little bit crooked, and that's okay. That's what we're going with. So at this point, you see how the S and the H kind of go over each other? What I could do, since I'm doing an actual PNG image, I'm not doing an image to cut with my Cricut. I could do each individual letter and then just stack them on top of each other. But for the sake of learning, what we're going to do is we're going to splice out each individual letter from these little parts right here. So what we're going to do, when you have them the way you want, you're going to select 2 layers only. If you were to select that 3rd layer, you cannot slice. So you select the 2 that you want to slice, and you're going to hit the slice button. Okay? You're going to do the same thing to the next. You're going to select 2 layers, so the I and the R, and we're going to slice. We're going to do the same for the H and the I. We're going to slice, and the S and the H, and we're going to slice. And what that does is it cuts where they cross. And so what we have to do now is we're going to go into this, and we're going to contour. And we're going to contour out the pieces that we don't want. So in this case, we're going to take out this little piece here. And so that kind of puts that behind the R, if you see where we're going with this. And we're going to do the same with the R. We're going to leave that one because that's where the T comes in. So we want that there. But we're going to remove that side, and we're going to do the same for the I. And I'm going to... Okay, so now you got the word where you want it. I'm going to make it all one layer, so I'm going to select all of my layers. I'm going to combine, and I'm going to weld it, and that's going to make it one. And so now we have one single, they're no longer single letter or individual letters, they're one single unit. So at this point, we're going to kind of put that to the side. And we're going to kind of put our design together. And then we'll fill in the letters as they go. Okay. I hope that made sense to everybody. All right. So I'm going to take the word Christmas and get that out of the way. All right. So we're going to use this little warp thing down here. Now, as long as you're not cutting this and you don't have a Cricut subscription, it's not going to matter. If you go to cut this, you're not going to be able to without having a subscription because this is just part of the subscription. But you can try it out without having a subscription. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to, let's see here. I want something along those lines like that. That's why I was, ooh, nope, not that. That one right there. And that kind of puts it at an angle going up, or you can kind of, ooh, I like that one even better. Okay. So now we have Christmas the way we want. Okay. So here I'm seeing an issue that I don't like with this right here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of separate the letters and we're going to move them in closer to each other just because I don't like the separation. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I'm going to contour. All right. So I'm going to just do one letter at a time. And if you like it the way it is, just leave it the way it is. I'm just picky, very picky. And if it don't look right, I don't like it. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of put them together. So we're going to duplicate, contour. We're going to do the same with the V. We're going to take the O out. Well, there we go. And we're just going to put it where it goes. And see, already that looks so much better to me. Yes, I'm on a tablet right now. You can do it on a laptop. You can do it on your phone. I like my tablet just because it has a bigger screen. So when I do go and screenshot it at the end, it gives a pretty decent resolution. So, all right. So that looks so much better to me. All right, so we're going to do the same thing as we're going to select all layers. And we're going to combine, weld, and done. So once again, that kind of just gives it one. All right, so we're just going to put that where we want it. All right, we're just going to stretch that out to your liking. I wanted it a little longer, but a little, there we go. No, you absolutely could. Yes, you can. Since we're doing this the way we're, as far as taking an image, a PNG, we're taking a screenshot. You do not have to cut and splice the letters. The only reason that I was doing that is more of a learning thing. I've had more comments than I even care to count of how to do that. So that's why we're kind of going over that. But yes, in this case, you could just do the individual letters and stack them the way you want. That's not a problem at all. That was more of to show how to do it. If you were doing an SVG, if you were cutting this with your Cricut, it would have to be like this. Okay. And then we're just going to put that down here. All right. Okay. So now here comes the fun part of kind of just moving it where you want it. We're going to add some color into it. Cricut Design Space is very overwhelming. As of 2 years ago, I knew absolutely nothing about it. And so this is just kind of something that I've played around with and learned. And when I started this TikTok account, I really had no idea how interested people would be. Thank you very much. This what I'm doing right now is free. Some of my fonts and stuff I've paid for. But what I'm doing right now is absolutely free. You don't need a subscription to use Cricut. You don't even have to have a Cricut to use Cricut. All you got to do is download the software, set you up an account, and you can get in there and play around with it a little bit. So this is free, what I'm doing here. Now, some of the stuff that I get from my Canva is Canva Pro. But you can also find just as many good things that are free on Canva. Okay. And so at this point, I want something red and green for the inside of my shirt. The font for shirt is called Bubble Font, and I got it on Etsy. That's not one that you can download on DaFont. But if you find, there's one in Canva. If you go under text, this one right here, I forgot the name of the font. Hit and Run. It's got the same kind of feel to it. It's got the rounded edges and stuff like that. And so this one I've used a lot. You can just create it as an outline. So for instance, let's get rid of that. Okay. So we're going to we're in Effects, and we're just going to choose Outline. And that's going to give you the same effect and give you the letters as they are. Now, if I were doing that and you wanted to separate the letters a little bit, just letter space. That way when you converted them into Design Space, you would have them separated instead of touching like they were. But you can do that. So if you can't find that one on Etsy, this one right here comes on Canva. You're welcome. Okay. So back to Cricut. Oh, wait, nope. I'm going back into Canva. I'm sorry, y'all. Forgot I was going to go in there. Okay, so I want a Christmas background. Let's see. There we go. That one's cute. And you can go through, like I said, you can go to free and see. There's so many that you can choose. Lots of red and green ones. You can choose. You can go back and watch one of my previous videos where I showed you how to make buffalo plaid. No, this is an iPad. Yes, ma'am. All right. I have a computer. I just don't like using it. I used to use my phone until I got this thing, and man, it ain't going back. All right, so transparent, we're going to save this one. That's what I'm going to use for the word shirt, just because I kind of like the look of it. But you choose whichever one you like. It don't have to be the same. All right, so in Canva, I've had a lot of people ask me where I get all the colors that I use, or papers, whatever you want to call them. I find them all in Canva, actually. And so all you got to do in Canva is search up, if you want like blue texture, you search blue texture and then you get something that looks like that. There's plenty of different options. And so all these different colors that I actually got from Canva. All right, so we'll get some red and green. And let's upload this. My kids, they try. They keep downloading games on my iPad, and I tell them, no, y'all, that's my work iPad. So I try to carry it around with me everywhere so they can't get a hold of it. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I love this little iPad. Best money I ever spent. Now, once it gets all loaded up in there, then what we're going to do is we're going to actually isolate the inside of the letters on the word shirt and the movie. Print and cut, yes. If you were to cut it as cut, then it would just be a black box. It wouldn't actually give you this red and green image that you want. So as I was explaining earlier, if you want anything like this, like the wording, you can use cut, you can use print and cut. It really doesn't matter. But when it comes to images like these papers here, these or these, you have to do print and cut. And that's going to give you the actual image that you want. And I do not print from Canva or from Design Space. You can, but you're just limited on size. So I like to screenshot and then use a different program to print. I've never had a problem with any resolution or anything because, this is pretty decent size. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to isolate the letters. So we're going to take the word shirt, we're going to duplicate it, and we're going to contour. Oh, well, we're going to have an issue here. Let's see, where's it at? Well, oh, right there. Okay. So sometimes when you're cutting and splicing the letters, you get this issue here where there's a little splice, which is causing the R to be the same as the outside. Okay. And they're connected there. But because that line goes all the way across, we're going to have to correct that. There's two ways of going about that. You can screenshot this and then upload it into Design Space again. And I know that sounds very redundant, but it's going to give you the exact same image without having that. Or you can just take a tiny little shape, make it as small as you need it. Oh. Put it right around where that little slice is, select and weld. And what that's going to do when you go to contour it, now we have a separation. So I'm going to do each individual letter. Okay, I'll make sure that went. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with each letter. And right here where that line was, you're going to see that. That's okay. Once you put it in the outline, you're not going to see it anymore. And we're going to keep doing the same thing. We're going to duplicate, contour. Now, what I've learned when you're contouring, if you want just this inside of the R, don't click the inside. What that's going to do, if you click that inside, it's going to give you a little... Contouring is something you got to play around with. It took me absolutely forever to figure out contouring. It's super easy once you get it down. So we're just going to keep doing each individual letter. Okay, so now we have all the letters that we need. And the only reason I did that, if you wanted to do it all as one, you could make this big enough to cover the entire work. However, I want each letter to have more of the plaid design, which is why I do them separate, so I can make the plaid smaller, and it's going to give it more detail in each letter, if that makes sense. So we're going to take this and we're going to duplicate it a few times. So S-H-I-R-T. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing we've been doing, and we're going to select both layers. I got it where I want it. I'm going to select both layers and slice. We're going to do that with each of the letters. We're going to put it where we want it. Select both layers and slice. We're going to do the I the same way. Select both layers and slice. And we're going to do the R. Select both layers and slice. And the T. Select both layers and slice. Okay, so that leaves us, get rid of those. Well, I'm glad I'm explaining it well, because sometimes I don't know if I am or not. All right, and so now, okay, so at this point, down here in the bottom corner, you have this settings button. There's this thing called Smart Guides. If it's on, it's going to give you a really hard time trying to line up your letters where they're supposed to be, just because it's going to give you a little bit of a white outline. It's easier for me to turn the Smart Guides off and then get it lined up to where you need it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. If at any point you get tired and you see there's white lines, I'll show you a little trick to get rid of them. Do you see up here? If you don't want to worry about getting it perfect, all you're going to do is you're going to select that letter, edit. We're going to create a tiny offset. Just a little. Okay. Done. And what that does is on the very back, it puts a straight layer. So if I were to move this, you see how it has the layer behind it? All that's doing is blocking the black or the white from showing. So we're going to put that back where it was. Okay. I am in Cricut Design Space at the moment. All right. We're going to do the same thing with the H. We're going to bring it where it needs to be. Okay. And if you need to do the offset on it, I can usually get them pretty good without needing the offset. Sometimes I just get very frustrated and, you know what, just put an offset. Because it ain't going to show. It's just going to, you know. I absolutely love this red and green pattern. It's so cute. Okay. Okay. All right, so I'm going to select all, and you can group them, you can flatten them. Hey, Nikki, how are you? Right now, this font right here is from Etsy. It's called Bubble Font. But if you were to go into Canva, there is one called Hit and Run. That gives it the same kind of, you just need to do an outline for it, which is pretty much the same font. I am doing good, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. I hope that helps. And just get to playing with it. You know, it's just something that's kind of taken me absolutely forever. All right. So I am thinking I would like the word Christmas to be in red. And so I'm going to take my red, and we're going to make it as big as we need it. And we're going to select both layers. Well, oh, you know what? Okay, so here's the trick. I'm going to screenshot this and then upload it. And only because if you try out the warp, you cannot you cannot slice it. And I've learned that the hard way. So I'm going to save that as a photo. And then we're going to upload it. Seems incredibly redundant, but there's ways around everything. First time I went to go slice something, and I had that warp on, I could not for the life of me figure out how to do it. Okay, so, you know, I don't teach classes, but I do like to go live every Sunday and kind of help you guys out. I do videos on my page. I do vinyl work. I do lots of sublimation. Designing is kind of my fun part. That's what I like to do. I don't even really like making the shirts and stuff so much. I just like doing the designing. I play with this all the time. Okay. Okay, so I was just removing the background there. And that's going to bring, there we go. So now, where? There we go. Okay. So I'm going to make it as big as the other one was. Okay, and we're going to get rid of that one. Delete. Okay, so now we'll go back to where we were. All right. You know, I do sell my designs. I used to have an Etsy. I kind of just let it go. It was a lot more headache than it was worth, I guess. But But I do sell them if you want to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help you out. Okay. So now I'm going to make that one green, and I want watching green. And you can use any colors you want. If you want to do a pink Christmas shirt, do a pink Christmas shirt. I like using the red and green just because, I don't know, I'm traditional, I guess. All right, so in the movie, you see these little holes here? I'm going to fill those in with some decoration because why not? So we're going to duplicate that. And we're going to contour. All right, so every other letter, I'm going to do like green, red, green, red, green. So I'm going to take away the outline. And we're going to separate that. And all I want is the inside. Oh, wait, I need that. Okay, so I've removed all the outsides. And then I've removed everything from every other letter. So all I need is the inside parts. And that's going to leave us with that. Oh, sorry, y'all. If I can get situated again. Okay, so we're going to duplicate that. And we're going to do the same thing as we're going to remove the other letters. And do the other letters. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you're learning. All right, so I'm going to start out with red. Duplicate. And I keep duplicating my colors. If you see, that way I don't have to keep going back in every time I use a color and bringing it back out. So I just keep. Okay. So now that was way off. All right. We're going to group that just so I don't move it. We're going to do the same thing with the green. Okay. All right, now I'm going to go one step further. Well, we'll do that in a minute. And we're going to add some accents to the letters. All right, now I just got to get them back lined up where I want them. Okay, so this is my, well, there we go. I'll get it there eventually. I move it around a lot until I find where I actually want to put it. Sometimes I like where it is. Sometimes I just keep moving around. Okay, so I think that's perfect right there. All right. So now we're getting somewhere here. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my heat press. Let it start getting heat up. Sorry, y'all. I didn't want to heat it up before because I'm sitting right next to it. This little sucker at 400 degrees makes it hot in here. All right, so I'm just preheating my heat press to 400. Okay, so while that's going, hey y'all, welcome. If you're just now joining, we're in Design Space and we're making a super cute shirt because why not? All right. So now we're just going to put everything where we want it. Oh no. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and group all this together just so I don't keep moving it. So I can just move. There we go. Just got to figure out where I want it here. I'm actually going to put this on a shirt. Or are you asking about the program? The program is Design Space, Cricut Design Space. I'm going to actually move that to the back. I'm going to flip that around. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay. So I'm going to... Okay, so what I'm going to do is I kind of want this to go behind the word Christmas here. And so I'm just going to create an offset on the word Christmas. And and then kind of splice that out. So we're going to create a small offset. Okay. And I'm going to make it white. Bring it front. And I'm going to bring it all the way to the front, and I'm just going to send it back till it's right behind the red Christmas. Now I'm going to send this to the back. All right, and when I flatten it, it's going to get rid of the lines around it. It's going to kind of go down into that. Oh. All right. And we're just going to keep grouping as we go. I think it's easier to group them. That way, when you move it, you can move it as one. All right. So we're getting closer now. I'll make... Oh. I don't even... And just kind of play around with it till you find it where you like it. And I think I'm going to add some snowflakes just because I feel like there's some empty spots. I'm all about the details, y'all. Like I said, when you upload something into Design Space, make sure that you save it under something that you're going to remember. That way when you go to look for an item, there's a lot of fonts. All right. And we're just going to make a couple of these little suckers, and I'll keep them black. All right. All right, I think that looks about good. Now I'm going to add some accents. I'm just going to flatten all that together as one. Okay, so now we have one image. No, I actually do not pay for Cricut. It's a free unless you pay for the subscription. And so I'm actually doing all this without a subscription, which is what kind of says subscribe there. I do, however, pay for Canva, just because there's a lot of images and stuff. Thank you. Okay. See, if you have a subscription from Cricut, you really don't even need Canva. It's really kind of one or the other that you need. Okay, so I love Cricut more, only because I can do all this stuff in there. You can do a lot in Canva, but I like doing the cutting and splicing and making different things. There's a lot that you can do in Canva. I'm no expert on Canva. Here you'll see. So that's bothering me now. Look at that. That's uneven, but that's okay. It won't show. All right. So I'm just going to create some dots. You can do snowflakes. That's really going to bother me, though. I've got to unflatten that. Well, never mind. It's fine. Everything like that bothers me, but from far away, you will not be able to see that. All right. Oh. That's really going to bother me. I'm going to end up going back in and fixing that later, but this isn't for a client or anything. We're just doing a little design. You can add little accents if you want. Oh. I'm not even sure if I like that or not. Nah, I'm going to do without them. Just for the sake of time purposes, we're going to put that back where it goes. Okay, so I kind of like that where it's at. Yes, I'm actually making this on a t-shirt. And so at this point, what I do is I get it as big as I can get it here, and we're going to screenshot it. Okay. Remove all the excess. And this is a super cute design. Didn't take long to make. It didn't really take, too much. Just a lot of layering. Actually, I have a sublimation printer. I'm about to print it on the printer. So I use a program called Print to Size. Oh, my bad. Clear that page. Okay. So I'm going to select the image that I want. Always reverse it. Okay, so to make transparent backgrounds, the easiest one, so for this is sublimation. If I were to do a DTF print, I would need to remove the background, but with sublimation, I don't have to, just because it's not going to print the white. And so I'm going to make it as big as I want, but I will show you, and I'm just going to make it as big as this little page will allow me to. This is going on a medium shirt, so this is plenty big enough. All right. Make it a little bit. Okay, so now that we got it where we want it, I'll make sure my Wi-Fi is on. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and print that out. Oh, need to get some printer paper. Okay. Helps if there's paper in the printer. Alright, so now that we got that printing, my heat press is... What did you break? Alright. So it is printing now. So we're going to go ahead and get a shirt ready here. Alright, sorry, I was very unprepared. I just learned how to layer designs. Yay! I am going to print it out with my sublimation printer. And it's printing at the moment. It don't take very long. And it's so cool. You just got to open up your design space and kind of play around with it. And yeah, it's a little overwhelming. Very much intimidating at first. But with lots of practice, I absolutely assure you, you'll be able to go far. It took me a while to play around with it, I promise. Alright, where is... I'm on a bit of the unprepared side today. Okay. So what questions do we have? Do we have any questions on anything that I've done as of yet? As far as contouring, layering, print to size app, yes. Yes, so print to size, I believe now is an Apple app. I could be wrong. I don't know if it's available on Android, but there are others like that you could use on Android. I know for sure. This one is limited though. If you're doing anything bigger, like if I were to use the bigger sublimation printer, this one only goes so big. So I believe 11 by 17 is the biggest that you can print on this one. All right. Okay, so print to size. Print to size is the app that I'm using. All you got to do is upload. Hey, Miss Rose, I do have a couple on YouTube that are up right now. They were the last couple weeks' lives are up on YouTube. There's also another tutorial on there. Y'all be patient with me when it comes to this YouTube. That's a lot more work, apparently, than doing these TikTok videos. Yes, this is a free app. I didn't pay for this. While that's printing, I will show y'all the best free background eraser app. Photo Room is pretty awesome, but it has its limitations. There's others that I've tried. I'm very picky, but this Magic Eraser, once it loads here. All right. Okay. So all we would do is upload the image. If you need to crop it, you can do it there. And what it's going to do is it's automatically going to remove the background, but it never does it the way it's supposed to. So back out. You're going to use this little button down here called 1, and you can change the amount that you do. I usually do it about 50. That gives it a good, it's going to remove all the white around the letters. And you just touch where you want it to remove, a lot like you do in Design Space. But here's the problem. We're going to have to go a little less. No. I may have to outline. There we go. Okay. So anytime there's white like that, all right. You're just going to have to turn it down, but then you can turn it back up. See, you can kind of see where you need it to be to kind of remove that. And then you can put it back up to 50 once you're done with the white. Oh, I did it again, didn't I? Forgot there was white there. Okay, we should be good the rest of the way. All right, and then you're just going to touch the images as you want to remove it. There's none up there, and it's a little tedious having to do each individual one like this, but it gives it a really good. I do lots of DTF prints this way, and I've never had a problem with it. It always comes out really good. And like I said, it's a bit tedious. Well, I'll show you how to go back and fix that. All right, then we're just going to remove all the... And I believe that's all the white that I need. It did it again, but that's okay. We'll go back and I'll show you. So in this case, say it removes something that you don't want it to. All you got to do is restore. And fill it in as you need to. And that's going to solve that problem. Anytime there's not a solid, you see how that black line is just very faint. If I were to outline it in black in Design Space and then take a picture, which is usually what I do, but I wasn't planning on removing the background. But anytime I'm doing that, I will add a small black outline around it. But you get the point. And basically, once you have that all fixed the way you want it, so say that's fixed, you're going to go in there and you're going to save it, and that's going to give you a perfect, there's absolutely no white behind that. And so that's an awesome app. You can remove it in Canva, but I didn't work in Canva. I was working under Design Space. Now, there is a problem with Canva too. Canva can, anytime you try to remove the background, it can remove any white as well. So if you have any white that you're trying to intentionally leave in, Canva sometimes is not the best option to go. I'm not a big fan of it, honestly. This is the one I kind of like the best. You can kind of work with it a little bit, and it leaves absolutely no white. It's called Magic Eraser is the name of the app. Magic Eraser. All right. So now we have our image and it's printed. All right. So I'm going to trim as usual because, all right. So now that that's printed, I'm going to turn on some lights. Ooh, it got bright in here. Print to size app. So print to size. And you're going to select whichever one that you want to use, and you're going to add. I'm going to take that one away. Okay, and once it's in there, you're going to see some options up top right here. Oh, I pushed the wrong one. The one next to it with the little arrows going sideways. What that's going to do is that's going to flip it over. You always want to reverse when you're sublimating. And then you're going to flip it to the side. Well, you can make it bigger. And you'll see the little outlines, and just stay within that. So make it as big as you can and stay within those lines. So I can go a little bit bigger, see? And at that point, you would just print. Okay, sorry about that. I found my scissors. Kids had them. Hey, sister. All right. So this one gave me a little mess up on there, so I'm just going to kind of cut it out. My printer does that sometimes. You'll see it catches the edge and puts a little ink around it. So if you ever see me in my videos, that's why I'm always kind of cutting the outside, because every time I don't, whether you see it or not, it's there. All right. So I always trim the outside, and I'm having issues with this printer, y'all. So you'll see that my image is kind of distorted. I got to get the other printer unpacked and ready to go. Okay. So now we're going to come over to the shirt area. All right. I am using sawgrass because I was in a pinch, but typically I use the A-Sub 125 gram weight. That gives me the best saturation of color. All right. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold this sucker in half, kind of get a little middle part. All right. And right now I'm using a 100% polyester shirt that I got off of Etsy. I use JC Vinyl Supply. She has some of the best polyester shirts. They're so soft and my customers absolutely love them. You can always look in your settings and see like under each individual picture and see if it's, you know, a certain DPI or more. Well, I have done print on vinyl, but the only thing I don't like about that is you have to, well, you don't have to, but you do it on a Cricut and you're still limited on space. That way the machine can cut it, you know, so you can't get the bigger images. That's the only downside to that. But the possibilities are pretty cool there. But sublimation is awesome. Look it up. It's amazing. You can sublimate so many surfaces. Even if you're not supposed to be able to, you can. All right, we're almost there, y'all. It's called JC Vinyl Supply is where I get mine. It's JC's Vinyl Supply on Etsy and JB Blanks. All right. Ooh, she's hot. All right. Invest yourself. If you're doing sublimation, invest in a good roller, a lint roller. And while this sucker is hot, oh, bang it. You're gonna want to roll it. Now there are some imperfections on the shirt just because I told you my print was a little messed up and I didn't want to have to wait to print another one. So this shirt's just for me. I'm not really worried about it. And then there you go. Oh. And so now we have a This Is My Christmas Movie Watching shirt. And it's absolutely adorable. So I'll see if I can get it under the light and show you a little bit better. Y'all, I'm very disorganized today. Normally I'm very prepared. Today is not that day. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like it. I'm going to enjoy wearing it. All right, there we go. And so you'll see here, you know, where my printer had issues, which if it's not for a customer, I ain't really worried about it. Typically, I would just have to adjust my little things on the side of the printer where the paper goes in. Sometimes they just get a little loose. My printer's seen better days. I printed on, it's sawgrass paper, sublimation paper. Typically, I like to use A-Sub 125 gram. Sublimation is permanent, especially if you use polyester. If you were to use a lower polyester count, then you're basically only dyeing the polyester fiber. So if you were to have, say, a 50-50 polyester cotton shirt, only 50% of that dye is going to get into your fabric. So your cotton's not going to dye. If it does dye, it's going to be very faint and it will wash out with each washing. This, I have used the cotton spray, but I don't like the it leaves a weird feel to me. Every time I've used it, I have not been happy with it. So I try to stick with polyester or DTF. I use DTF if I've got to do a cotton shirt or like Bella canvas or something like that. JC, it's JAYSIE, I believe. JC Vinyl Supply. And then let's see here. So yeah, that's going to last quite a while. I was looking to see any more questions there. Printer, I'm actually only using, it's an Epson 20, this one's a 2700 model. I have the 2800 model over here. And then I also am in the process of getting the 1500 or 15,000. So that'll be able to print a little bit bigger. So this one, like I said, has seen better days. She's gotten me through some tough times. And she still does a good job because this, you know, is a large shirt and you can see how big the image actually is on it. It's not like it's, you know, super small, but it turned out super cute, y'all. Hope you like it. Yes. I have tried that before when I'm not in such a hurry. I do run it through twice. But when I say my printer has seen better days, sometimes it shifts and I get a lot of ghosting. And so it is a 2700 model. Epson EcoTank 27 something. I have 27, 28. Depends on what model they're on right now. But you can buy them at Walmart. They're only $200 with some change. You know, you buy the sublimation ink and you can start sublimating. It's really easy to do. There's so many possibilities. You're welcome. Well, see, I cannot wait. The 15,000 and the DTF printer are to come very, very soon. So y'all get to see some awesome adventures coming with me. So follow along and enjoy the journey with me. I'm so excited to share it with you guys. Okay, so the lint roller, what that does basically is polyester tends to get these little lines. Now you see there is no lines there because okay, so there's one right there. You see it? What I do is I go through and I just repress the shirt for another 10 seconds and then that's completely gone. I just didn't do it because I didn't want to take the time to actually do it. But these are very faint lines. What it does, if the shirt is hot and you lint roll it, it's just stretching out the fibers just a little bit to kind of get rid of that line. Once you repress it, and only press it just for a little bit. If you do any longer than that, you might get some ghosting that you don't want. So the Christmas like this, the way it is, it was a warp tool within Cricut Design Space. So I hope everybody enjoyed and get out there, get you some Cricut Design Space. No, I do not. I just screenshot it. Now, with that being said, this is a rather large image and there's no distortion, there's no pixelation. I mean, it's got, you can see, I have absolutely no problem screenshotting. Now, this is the printer here. That's just an issue with the printer. But you can see, and that red that was bothering me earlier, I told you it wouldn't show on the shirt. But this is screenshotting it on my iPad. YouTube is linked in my bio. So I will put this up there. It'll be up there tomorrow and have another one that's going to be joining it. And I'll be trying to get a couple of videos a week. But that's a whole process in itself. But I do look forward to every Sunday at 5 with you guys. I really enjoy this. Yeah, just to print and design. You can use Cricut Design Space without having a Cricut. I do have a Cricut and I use it, but you don't have to have one. My daughter has Design Space, and she just likes to go in and design. So thank you all for joining me. I appreciate y'all spending your Sunday evening with me, and get out there and design. If y'all have any designs you make, I had somebody show me one the other day that I inspired, and it's really cool. So if y'all make anything, send it my way. I'd like to see it. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank y'all so much.